Canadian economy created more jobs than expected in the latest report, but the increase in April was just 7,400 and the unemployment rate rose to 6.9%. We're joined by Travis O'Rourke, president of Hayes. Travis, thanks very much. Always great to see you.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks, Andrew.
I'm hearing a bit of noise. It's probably my microphone, but anyway, sorry about that.
Yeah, all good.
You say this unemployment rate is relentlessly going to increase in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know for how long, if we're going to go past the fall, but I've been calling for 7% for a few months now. I don't see any way we don't hit 7% next month. Like, could we touch 7.5 by the end of the summer? It's possible. We'll see if public policy can help us out of that, but there's not a lot of positivity I'm seeing right now.
The latest figures were distorted apparently by people hired for the election. But we have seen this trend, I think, over the past few years, public sector job creation exceeding private sector.
That's right. Yeah, I think, 7,500 or so jobs gained. But if you've got 37,000 of those come from the public sector, really, we lost 30,000. And that's off the back of losing 33,000 last month. So I think the Liberal government getting in is, usually a pretty good sign for those who work in the public sector or aspire to. So maybe we'll get a little bit of a balance out going through the summer. But overall, we want that GDP producing economy. We want those sectors to be the ones driving our unemployment down, and we're not seeing that.
Let's have a quick look at the Canadian dollar, because our partners at Bloomberg arguing that this relatively lackluster performance in the Canadian jobs market increases the likelihood of a Bank of Canada interest rate reduction. And we also, we touched on this earlier, the manufacturing sector came under particular pressure in the latest month. It was down 31,000 jobs, that apparently the biggest drop since January of 2019, apart from COVID, of course. And Windsor, Ontario, as I mentioned earlier, being blitzed right now. It appears the unemployment rate going north of 10%. At what point do you think the government, well, what can the government do, to try to arrest the rise in unemployment?
Yeah, I mean, Windsor's certainly in trouble. We saw Oshawa GM plant lose a shift this week. I think automotive is going to be in trouble until we can get a deal done with the Americans. It was great to see yesterday. We love to see the UK do a deal. I think part of that was, a little bit symbolic over the history of those two countries. Mm-hmm. You'd hope Canada's going to be up soon. Obviously, we've got China coming in over the weekend, but Canada getting a good auto policy in with the Americans is going to be critical to Oshawa, to Windsor. But as far as a broader space, what could Canada do? I think Carney platformed on a lot of great things, and it's he wants to build, and we've got a housing crisis, so I think there's a lot of increase we can get there. He wants to invest in skilled trades. Brilliant. We have a desperate need for skilled trades. The energy sector, I think there was 38 CEOs who wrote an open letter earlier in the week about some things that could drive domestic energy, that's clean energy and maybe the dirty oil stuff. And then I think infrastructure. I mean, Carney seemed to be pretty pro-mining, and there's a lot of civil routes that need to be built in order to get that. And the last promise, which I think is probably the most important, is he's looking for free trade by Canada Day. I mean, within province. So there's a lot of great things that he's talking about doing, and I know this will drive employment in the right direction, but it's so high level right now. Uncertainty is difficult for an executive to make a decision based on.
Who's going to be hiring? It's going to deter people from hiring.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's wait and see 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. So that's why, unfortunately, I think we're going to see unemployment in the mid-7s, maybe by the end of the summer.
AI, you think it's still slow, but it's chipping away at jobs? It's taking jobs away from people?
Yeah, it is. It's taking jobs from one area of a department and maybe growing it in another. And if you're in an accounting department right now and there's 40 of you and 5 people leave, can you do it with 35 with an enhancement of technology? Absolutely. I think necessity is the mother of invention. And a lot of these tools exist at corporations around Canada right now, but people aren't being forced to use them. Now, when you get the extra workload of your colleague dropped on you, you find out pretty quickly, shoot, I could have done this way a little bit faster. And whether you work in finance or customer service or marketing to do content or even sales, early process lead generation, AI and specifically agentic AI is starting to take a larger role in this.
Agentic being an agent that deals with the public.
Well, an agent that does tasks on behalf of you. So it could be interdepartment, it could be going from an AP to an AR, or it could be going from the marketing team to the sales team about this could be done. But it's performing tasks that are largely more repetitive that a human has been doing, and now you don't have to.
Yeah, it's fascinating times. Yeah, that's right. That's an interesting note, though. If your colleagues get laid off, you might have to use AI to fill up the...
Listen, whether you're coaching yourself on YouTube or maybe you got a more forward-thinking organization that's teaching you, there's so many great ways to use this technology. And ultimately, I don't see it having a huge negative impact on the unemployment rate. Oh. However, right now, companies are getting a lot of air cover in a reason to maybe not replace that role. So I'm not expecting that we're going to see mass layoffs in any departments across Canada, at least in 2026. But the kind of like the piece by piece, it's happening. You've got Duolingo and Shopify, both over the last month have announced if you want to hire somebody, first you have to approve that AI cannot do that job. Now, Shopify has always been kind of one of the leading companies, but we'll see who follows.
We better leave it there. Always great to hear from you, Travis.
Cheers, Andrew.
Travis O'Rourke, president of Hayes, coming up.